Dear Acoustic Memories. Hello, we are Team Muzed with Emotional Music Diary Application Service. Let me start with asking you this question. Do you have a cherished memory? How did it feel back then? Emotions are intertwined with memories, and these emotions are often embedded in your acoustic memories, namely the music. Muzed is an application that helps you recall your dearest memories and relive the moment with music. How does the Muzed do this? Users using Muzed first select song that holds certain memory. What differentiates Muzed is that it takes in more information beyond that. Users can add information such as moods, emotion, time, and place related to the music and memory. We call these additional information as tags. When tags are added to the music, we call it a log. Muzed is a diary with a collection of logs. When users access logs, Muzed offers a wonderful experience in a way that boosts your emotional trip with your memories. In the early stage of our study, we collected insights from survey, observation, and interview to support the details of our design. These are the few key insights drawn from the session. First, visual aid matters. Memories are recalled in a visual way, so to help the experience, we need to provide visual references. This led us to create a visual representation of tags applied to music. Second, there is a memory hierarchy. There's a hierarchy between the specific elements of memories embedded to music. We normalize the data collected, and the hierarchy follows relationships, mood, time, and location. This helped us create orders in making a log. Third is about the general logging behavior. We identified users typically has inclination to first bookmark the songs they want to remember and later move them to specific location. We got the message that users do not want cognitive overload in their interaction. Thus, we decided to make service that leaves information input both error-proof and easy to use. Less is about the general sharing behavior. If we are to implement sharing function to the service, we had to consider the privacy of the memories. The more private the memory became, there were less tendency for users to share to the public. With these main implications, functional requirements were made in 4 main domains: logging, streaming, sharing, and other functions for convenience. With a sketch alternative addressing these requirements, we chose a design that can address as many as implications drawn and could be realistically delivered in a limited development timeframe. The first low-fidelity prototype was quickly built after we chose our dominant design, which is the LP motif design. Then we revamped our design for higher fidelity with branding process to determine the mood of our design. We chose a color scheme, typography, logo, and slogans based on the learnings from the previous sessions. We wanted to add a personal and sentimental layer that can highlight the cherished memories of each individuals. Now we would like to share the promotion of our service with the high fidelity prototype we made. Hope you enjoy. You have seen our high-fidelity mock-up demonstration, but our team has managed to develop a functioning prototype built with codes and support for both front-end and back-end. With intense limitation of time for actual development, we had to make many compromises on the way. For the current alpha version of the application, you can test fundamental functions in logging and streaming. For your information, these are the framework we used for the development. The link for the alpha version will be provided at the end of the presentation. As finishing the pilot test with the new team, we were ready to test it out to the users. We first provided our functioning alpha version for the test, and after the session, demonstrated the high-fidelity mockup to complement the design concepts that were sacrificed for the short development schedule for completing front-end requirements. The video running on the background is our development alpha version of our service. With remote testing environment setup, we tested our service in 3 main domains to collect insights for further development. First, we conducted pre- and post-interview surveys to measure quantitative value to see how our service turned out to be successful or not. We looked at the data to see if the result shows that Muzed is a potential service or needs major rework on it. Second, interviews were conducted before and after user test session to collect detailed qualitative data for additional insights. Lastly, we conducted a think aloud session in user test session where we can observe what is working in prototype and what is not. We tested the main functional requirements, logging, streaming, and sharing, and observed how users perceive these functions. There were many big and small findings, and we went through a process to clustering it into implications for further development of the service. We'd like to introduce some of the key implications drawn from the tests. First, we need a better visual experience. Having a magical visual experience with music was one of the primary goals of our design. Although we implemented this feature by making visual representation of input tags, users' expectation of visual experience was much higher. Therefore, our first step will include functions to surprise users with algorithms suggesting likable logs and display visual information that are related to their memories. Second, we really need to pick a side. As we implemented the sharing function, users were confused between if this application is more personal or community-based. As we originally intended to design the application as a personal archive of logs and add sharing as a supplementary function, we might have to adjust UX dynamics to highlight the diary function of our application to guide users properly. Last is to bring more thoughtful design. We have encountered a problem with the complex issues of varying level of details of memories across individuals. Although we had normalized assumption on popular data tag regarding memories such as mood, people, or place, depending on the memories and individuals, some tags were rendered quite useless. The problem was that without the tag data input, the streaming experience lacked the visual elements that may be important for the wholesome streaming experience. Therefore, in further design, we need to implement default design that can be visually pleasing even with some missing information. Although the limitation of the tested prototype, quantitative data shows us the potential of our service when we work on commented feedbacks. As we built the session for the user test, we built the index for propensity to adopt, which calculates users' inclination to use the service based on personal needs. Index was calculated with taking in values from Likert scale collected from questions asking the inclination to use the service and putting the weight value incremented by 1 per step. This is the formula we made, and according to the quantitative results, we have seen positive changes in propensity to use after testing our service. And among 4 domains of our design, we got good scores on freshness and aesthetics, but received lower scores on intuitiveness and flexibility. We believe this is partially due to the limit of our alpha prototype, so we plan to work on to finesse our technical part of the functions. We would like to end our presentation with 2 user testimonies that sums up the notion of our service. Lee said, "I'd say it's an enjoyable harmony of visual and acoustic information of the memory." And Kim said, "It was nice overall. It helped me to cherish my memories, takes me back in time." Like the testimony, we aim to develop service that offers people happy experience enjoying their beloved memories and stories with music. In remaining time frame, we plan to keep on developing our application based on the implications collected from the test session. So you may see updates in our alpha prototype adding more contents over time. Here are the links for the developed alpha and high fidelity design of our application based on Figma. Using the upper QR link, you could test out our published alpha version. Just change the user ID in the URL to start making your own logs. The bottom link is more conceptual design ideas we originally had as a goal. We will work on to develop our alpha closer to the design mockup. Lastly, you could also take a look at the codes which Brian has opened as an open source. Link is in the below. Hope you take a look at it. And that will conclude our presentation. And thank you very much for listening.